Ashwagandha is a super popular herb right now. It seems like everybody's trying ashwagandha for sleep, for stress, for mood support, but ashwagandha is not right for everybody. So let's talk about that today because I wouldn't be surprised if you're watching this video, if you've tried ashwagandha yourself, or maybe you've been thinking about trying it and wondering if it can help you with supporting anxiety or maybe trouble sleeping and mood and energy and all of the things that ashwagandha is really known for and popular for supporting. But again, I have found that ashwagandha doesn't work for everyone. Now, I will say that I do think ashwagandha is an amazing herb. It's an herb that falls into a class of herbs called adaptogens. And adaptogens are truly an amazing class of herbs. I actually use them as an herbalist in the formulas that I create for my clients. I use them as the foundation for nearly every formula that I create. And the reason is because, as an adaptogen, what that means is that ashwagandha helps to regulate that HPA axis response to stress, right? And so, any kind of stressors, whether physical stressors, mental and emotional stressors, even stressors like toxins and infections, we can actually get some strength and resilience from adaptogens because of how they help to regulate that stress response of the body. So they're really wonderful for supporting energy and just dealing with stress type of symptoms like maybe anxiety or depression, and just really having more resilience in the body and in the nervous system to handle life, which I think just about everybody could use these days. I also love that there's a lot of research coming out showing how adaptogens help support mitochondrial function as well. And mitochondria are the what you might have heard them called the powerhouse of the cell, right? This is how we make energy at the cellular level. So if we don't have good healthy mitochondrial function, whether our mitochondria become damaged, we can actually start to lose mitochondrial function as we age or due to high toxin load, for example, then we just don't have the machinery, if you will, to make energy efficiently. And when we don't have a lot of energy, we don't really have resilience, right, to handle whatever comes up in life, all those stressors that so many of us are dealing with today. So this is why adaptogens are amazing class of herbs that again I use as the foundation of nearly every formula with clients because I work with a lot of clients to support nervous system biology. So a lot of people come to me for help with mood, with sleep, with energy, and a sense of not being really able to come into their full self, right? And being able to feel good in their body. And that's what I help my clients with by supporting the nervous system biology. And again, adaptogens can be so valuable here, including ashwagandha. But there's something that you need to know, and I feel like is really kind of missing actually from this conversation around how herbs work. Because ashwagandha, while it is a wonderful adaptogen for the right person, it's not right for everyone, as I said. And let me give you a little example. I have a client, and actually, she's not the only client that's told me this, but I'm thinking of one client specifically who had tried ashwagandha. She'd worked with another practitioner who had recommended that she take ashwagandha because she had kind of this picture of what we might call adrenal fatigue, right? She was really tired waking up in the morning. Her energy was really low. She just was really struggling to kind of find that place of resilience in her body. And because of that, she was recommended to take ashwagandha. I think that her practitioner she had been working with even had done some like salivary cortisol testing and found that she had, a disrupted cortisol response, right? Really low morning cortisol and maybe even low throughout the day. I don't remember all the specifics, but she definitely fit that picture of someone who could benefit from something like an adaptogen. And yet, when she started to take ashwagandha, she felt worse. She felt more tired. It was even harder to get up in the morning. She felt even a little like depressed and weepy with taking ashwagandha, which she just didn't really understand. But to me, it made complete sense because I understood her nervous system and the patterns that were showing up with her and her energetics. And I also know the energetics of ashwagandha and why this is the reason ashwagandha was not a good fit for this client at all. And it made her feel worse because when we talk about energetics, all herbal medicine, in fact, all herbal traditional medicine, like traditional Chinese medicine or Ayurveda, for example, they're based on energetics. These are energetic systems. Meaning, when you understand the energetic patterns of the person you're working with, and then we understand that herbs have their own unique energetic patterns as well. We can match the right energetic patterns of an herb to the person we're working with. And there's where we're going to get results. And I'm going to show you actually an example here. So I'm actually going to share my screen with you for just a moment because I want to share with you something from my online botanical medicine mastery program where I teach other holistic professionals and health coaches and aspiring herbalists how to really master herbal medicine or botanical medicine to get results for their clients. And one of the things I teach them when I'm sharing this concept of how to understand energetics is what I call my continuum of adaptogens. Okay. So, what you're seeing here is really the first pillar of the botanical mastery method, or mastering energetics. And what you see here, all of the herbs on the screen are adaptogens, right? So they all help to regulate that HPA axis response to stress. They all help to support mitochondrial function, as we talked about. Like most herbs, they have some antioxidant and anti-inflammatory abilities to them as well. But what I want you to take away from this is that not all adaptogens are equal energetically. So let me talk about energetics for just a moment in case that sounds a little woo-woo to you or you're not really sure what I mean by energetics. In a really simple sense, and herbs can have an impact on the body or an effect on the human body, where some herbs, for example, are going to help warm up the body, or some might actually cool the body down. So, ginger, for example, while it's not an adaptogen, is an herb that can help with warming up the body. It kind of has that warming, pungent, right, flavor. And so it could be a really nice herb to help with someone who is really cold all the time, right? Maybe has poor circulation because ginger will help to enhance circulation. It's one of the ways it helps to kind of warm up and stimulate the body and the digestion specifically. And that's when I'm talking about how it warms up the body or it has that warming quality to ginger, that is really what I'm talking about in terms of energetics, okay? So all herbs have energetics, meaning when we take an herb, it has a specific way it changes our energetic patterns. It can help warm us up or cool us down. So maybe for someone running a fever, they might take something like echinacea to kind of address the cold or flu that they're maybe suffering from, but it also has this cooling effect on the body as well. So it can help to bring the body back into a place of balance. And that's really the goal when we're working with herbal medicine is understanding how our energetic patterns might be out of balance and then bringing them back into balance. So when we're working with adaptogens, it's wonderful to know that yes, we want to have these herbs that help regulate our HPA axis response to stress. But if that's the only thing we're really looking at in terms of using adaptogens, we're missing out on a really important piece of working with herbal medicine, and that's the energetic quality of an herb. So back to our screen and our continuum of adaptogens that I'm showing you here. What I want you to see in terms of all of these adaptogens is that while they're all adaptogens, they have different energetics. And ashwagandha, as we kind of alluded to in our example, it's very relaxing to the body. It has a very kind of heavy, it's kind of, I almost use the word sedating. I don't like to use the word sedating because it's not quite, there are some herbs that we could call sedative herbs. And I wouldn't necessarily put ashwagandha in that category, but it is pretty calming, right? It really relaxes the body. So when I think about my client who felt worse with ashwagandha, the reason she felt worse is her energetic pattern of imbalance was a pattern of low energy. She was already in this very kind of heavy, low energy. Depression was already something she was dealing with, and it just kind of brought in more of a heavy, depressing or calming energy that she actually needed something more stimulating and energizing for her system. And so that's what you see on kind of the opposite end of our continuum of our spectrum here is we needed to move towards the other end and bring in something a little more energizing. So herbs like Asian ginseng or rhodiola, for example, are herbs that I would use for someone who is stuck in a chronic freeze pattern of the nervous system, or that really low energy, kind of down and depressed kind of energy of the body and the mind. And actually, with this particular client, I remember one of the herbs we used for her was cordyceps because not only did she need something a little less, calming or grounding, she needed something to support her lung health because she was dealing with some symptoms of asthma. And cordyceps has an affinity for the lungs. And that's another important thing to know about herbs. And it's part of this pillar of mastering herbal energetics in the botanical medicine mastery method. And when we understand the energetics of an herb, and we understand the action of an herb, like it's an adaptogen, for example, and then we know the specific affinity of an herb, like cordyceps has an affinity for the lungs. Now we can start to match the right herb to the right person and actually get results. And actually, cordyceps, along with some other adaptogens and herbs that I put in a formula for this client, really moved the needle for her in terms of regulating her HPA axis, response to stress, helping her to have more energy during the day, sleep better at night, and really feel more like herself. And again, this is just one of the pillars of that botanical medicine mastery method I teach in my program, where we start by understanding herbal energetics, and then we look at the client, the person sitting in front of us, and we start to learn how to assess the unique energetic patterns of the person that we're using herbs to support, right? And then, just like with the cordyceps, I didn't just use it on its own. I put it into a formula that created synergy where we can actually get better results when we combine herbs into formulas that are energetically balanced. And so that's what I did for this client. And it made a huge difference in, again, her mood, her energy, her ability to sleep well, to wake up and not feel tired and overwhelmed and groggy, which was happening with ashwagandha. So when you understand herbs and how they work and how to use them effectively to balance energetic patterns, that's where you're going to get real results for your clients. And again, this is what I teach inside of my botanical medicine mastery program to other health professionals. And I have a couple of resources for you if this is something you want to learn more about, whether for your own health or you are an aspiring herbalist or already are a holistic health professional wanting to go deeper in understanding botanical medicine to support your clients. So, in the description below, you'll find some links to a free masterclass for health professionals on mastering botanical medicine. And you'll also find some free guides and other resources that you can grab to learn more about how to use herbs effectively. And make sure that you hit the follow button so you can continue to get videos where we'll talk more in depth about how to use herbal medicine effectively. Because when you know how to match your client or how to match yourself with the right herb, that is where you're going to get really targeted, amazing, effective results with herbal medicine. I will see you next time.